Wow, man. Wow. What a way to begin the show. What a way to start the show, man. So emotional, so real, so deep. Wow, man. It is the mastermind. It is the hot seat, isn't it? As always, we always have we always have artists. We always have a community leader, philanthropist, whoever that is doing well and who is a leader and activist out there. Today is not different, man. My guest today, she's already introduced herself, is Makay the poet. She's she's actually an electrical engineer from the Vaal University of Technology as well, Batandi Vaal. But she's going to tell us all about that. She's going to tell us about her family, her first boyfriend, and heartbreak, all of those things. Because as you know, on the hot seat, we go deep. Uh, we don't want any PR answer. McKay, hey, McKay,
Hi.
unjani?
Hey, ngiyaphila njani?
I'm awesome. I'm awesome. Actually, your full name is Makhosazana Ndebele, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna take it back. And firstly, shout out to you for making time. I know, you know, you have a busy schedule, nani, but you made time for us. So we're gonna take it back. Let's take it back home, where it all began. Ubuya phi wakabani, and isithakazelo sakho yini? I believe you Zulu.
Mangathi ngumtsonga uzothini. Okay, igama Makhosazana Ndebele. Ngibuya eBergville in KZN. Ngizalwa uLindiwe Ndebele, uMahaya, uMazalankosi, uMvanande, umdidodidwa ngamabala, uNdaba.
Malala.
Um, I'm originally from KZN. We just
Yeah.
scattered in so many places in KZN, but kakhulukazi eBergville. Um, so yeah. Um, but I think I'd like to say I grew up this side, because
Mm.
most of my life in J Bengingapa. I used to stay in Soweto, in Fulo South, and
Yo,
then
mfulu.
moved occasionally. Fulo
Mm.
Protea, Mirolenzi. Yabona nje zonke le ndawo nje zaseSoweto. So yeah.
Wow. You mentioned Beckville. For people that don't know Beckville, my neighbor used to stay in Beckville. He's late now. Uh, Beckville, some of the houses in Beckville are scattered. You know, Enyindlile, Enyindlile, Enyindlile. How was it like? You said you didn't grow up, and until when you were born, the life or experience the life as a Beckville? Until what age? At what point did you see it? Okay, I learn. Okay.
I'll be honest, I don't think I really remember much.
Mm-hmm.
Ukuthi as to ukuthi ngisuke nini ngalena ngaza ngapha. What I do remember is that I finished my primary school this side in Proteatland, Epasa. I don't know if you've heard of Epasa Tutorial Institute. Epasa,
Mm-hmm.
Proteatland.
Hey, ngiyazi kahle ibhasa. I've been Project
Yeah,
Glen for 17 years, more than that. Yeah, I think.
yeah, exactly. That was my primary school. So I'd say lapho
Imikuku.
from
Bekuyimikuku back then.
yeah, bekwamazozo. Not far
Yeah,
from Ifaranani. Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's just. I feel like I don't really remember much about Beckville, but I do
yeah.
remember my life. Campaign from late grade 3, grade 4, lapho. I think that's just how far I remember. Impilo yami.
So, so you grew up in Project Glen, pretty much, because if you're speaking
Pretty
about grade
much,
three,
I'd
grade
say
four, and
that.
five, yeah. And abazali at
I,
that point, bebakuphi Beckville or Muvenabo, benhlala endlini eyi-one, benhlala endaweni eyi-one.
sorry. So, yazi angikhulanga nabazali bami. Okay, ubaba
Mm,
passed on when I was young, and then my mom, yani, uma remained in Bergville. So basically, ngikhuliswe abomamkhulu,
mm,
abomalumekazi, you know.
mm.
I don't really remember that much. Ngikhuliswa uma.
Sure.
Yeah. So
So uma
basically,
ungishiye
ngikhuliswa.
Bergville.
Yeah.
So wayohlala
My
no
mom,
malume.
my my mom did move this side.
Yeah.
I do remember a part of my life where benhlala Rumini, it's
Mm-hmm.
rentile somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, but my mom would be this person who would go to KZN every now and then, as my grandma
Yeah.
was sick. Yeah, well, at some
Okay.
point she left for KZN and she never came back. Ngezwe sekuthiwa yes sengizohlala nomalumekazi
Mm,
permanently. Ugogo usegula kakhulu, my mom has to take care of her. And at that point in my life, I think for the longest period of my life, I've been so angry at my mom. So
mm.
umasi three, it's me. Okay, Ngila's born
Mhm.
from both umanu baba, but
Oh,
kumasi three,
Puchusa. Upunchusa, Shem.
upunkununu.
Hey.
But yeah, kumasi three. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's two boys and me. I'm the older. I'm sorry, I'm the last born. Still na
Mm.
kubaba ngilas but niyo baba. Yes, amadoda amazulu. Oh, kubaba si 13.
Ni 13.
Yo,
Are you guys close? Nalaba 13, nalaba abanye abayi 12.
no, not really. As
Ni-
we are not that.
Niyazana
We
man.
just know each other. I think I'd say I talk to about. Let me count. Two, three, four, maybe five or six of them. Lapho
Yeah.
nalapho nakhona occasionally. Abanye
Mm-hmm.
ke baseNewcastle. We don't know each other that much. Ngaje ukuthi oh bekuthiwa usisi wami, kuthiwa ubhuti wami kwaphela.
So,
You know,
growing up
really that.
in a way without your parents around, how did that do to you? I mean, umntana, you are being told that you have to grow up uhlale la nomalume nomalumekazi and everything. How did that do to you, especially uma umntwana omncane? I mean, usesikolweni, abanye abakhuluma ngabazali babo wena, hey, you have to you have to speak about umalume, especially as your dad passed on when you were young.
Um, I had honestly my childhood,
Mm,
it was a not so good childhood, I'd say. It did affect me in a
mm-hmm,
very negative way, and for the longest period of time. Like I say, ukungakhuliswa umama empilweni yami. Yes, I don't know. I feel like it has affected certain areas of my life, and even till today, I am still healing from those things. Uyabo, um, nala bengihlala khona komalume. Yeah, I'd say ngiyabonga vele ukuthi ngikhule ngine-roof and food to eat occasionally, but nje, it wasn't
yeah.
nice. Yabo bengibandlululwa. I could tell ukuthi man, I'm different. What they would
Mm,
preach, would say yonke ingane iyafana, and all, but
mm,
with their action, I
yeah.
think in front of people's eyes, they would play the yonke ingane iyafana kind of thing. But as soon as people were not there, I don't know, things just went sideways.
Mm,
From abuse verbally, emotionally, sometimes physically. Um, I'd say
mm,
it really did have a very negative impact in my life. And
mhm.
till today, I feel like I'm still healing from certain wounds, I'd say.
So,
Yeah.
being away from umama, especially as in Tombazana, um, it affected you, as you said, and being abused physically and emotionally. I always say, even though there's no abuse which is better than the other, I always say emotional abuse sticks around for years and years, probably for life, because you think about it and it affects you as when icala usasemncane
Um,
esikolweni ha how well did you do? How bad did you do? And did you tell the teacher? Who did you speak to about the whole thing, Ben Zagalenti?
Uh, Funny enough, I felt like school was the only thing that I had to get me out of all this situation, all this thing of being passed on from one person to the other, because I felt like those people I was passed on from, they were not really that different from each other, you know.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, academically I was brilliant, still am, although sinyiswa
Halal.
engineering. But again, I was one of those smart kids, teachers' pet, teachers' favorite. I was always in the top 10. I'd receive awards every year, especially primary. Um, academically, I made sure that it doesn't affect me academically. I made sure that my academics were always on point, because
Wow.
I felt like that was the only thing that made sense to me. That was the only thing that could get me out of wherever that I was. I tell myself
Yeah.
ukuthi yabona mangafunda ngiqede ngiyaphuma la. You know, indeed
Mm,
gonna ngiphumile, but
yeah.
mawuphuma from one place to the other, still that place has its own challenges, and somehow you crave for that mother figure ukuthi akubonise, ezinye izinto.
Mm,
As girl
mm,
children, for example, you'd probably want your mom to be close to you when you have your first period, you know when you
yes.
have your first boyfriend,
Mm,
um
mm,
all those things. And funny enough, I always look back at my life and I'm like, I wonder why I need disciplined ganja, because so many things that have happened in my life could have made me like take other decisions or do other things, and ngingabi
for
nendaba,
sure.
because I'd have this mentality to kuyafana, akekho umuntu onendaba nami, even my mom doesn't care about me. Hey,
Mm,
so still today my discipline amazes me. And yeah, yeah. That's why
wow.
even my
Wow.
poetry, especially if I am to, I've never written a happy poem about my mom ever. I've Every time I write about my mom, there has to be usizinyana inside. There has to be, I don't know, ubuhlungu of some sort, because it's still there. Yes, I've forgiven her and I'm trying to mend my relationship with her, but man, kunaleso space.
For sure.
It's really hard. It's really hard.
It makes sense. And I was coming to the boyfriend part and also your poetry, Uguti. So before I get to that, so you guys never, or Mama Kwazange, I reach out. I mean, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, for you going to high school. Um, Actually, Ukelezeva high school, and also did she try and have at least call you nyana gay?
Whew. I hope I don't get teary and stuff. But okay, so Uma is depends on e disability grant, right? She is partially blind. She uses like one eye. The other one is completely in V, you know. Um so nami ngikhule ngumntwana ohola is like SASSA social grant.
Mm,
And she left ikhadi lakhe for the disability money, as well as for my social grant to my uncle's wife, because vele bengikhuliswa wuye umalumekazi, um and maybe according to her, that was her being there in my life, or her taking care of me, um I had my first phone late, actually. Late, I'm sure like grade 11, or like a proper phone, you know um So I hardly spoke to her. And at times, let's say I would try and speak to her in phone, maybe using at that time, is my brother, the second born, bekafunde TUT, maybe would come from varsity as of Varasha for the weekend, you know, as on born and stuff. And I would tell her things that were were happening. And I felt like now sometimes it was just out of his hands. Because now I was for Uma, and I tell Uma is one of those people, is the most selfless woman I've ever met in my life. And I felt like most of her life she's put other people before her, you know, and the lento le
Mm.
imlimaze kakhulu so much. Like every time I see my mom, I can't help it, but like tears just fall because my mom used to be a professional nurse, by the way, um, at Johannesburg Hospital, you know.
Mhm.
She took care of everyone, even the very same woman onkulisile obengangiphatha kabi uyise uye esikolweni, you know. She took care of everyone but herself. And when
Mm.
life happened and she got into an accident that left her partially blind, things just turned, and all the people that she helped were nowhere to be found still today, you know. And I feel like as in Kula, I am now understanding so many things. I'm understanding ubuhlungu naye obungaphakathi, and I'm understanding ukuthi maybe according to her, she did all she thought it was best for me as umntanakhe,
At
you
the
know.
time,
Maybe
yeah.
she felt like me being the side ngifunda isikolo ngapha
Mm.
kuthuthukile as compared to KZN, you know.
Yeah,
She probably
yeah.
put my education first, and all other things. And me na is like born that way, I'd probably feel like abandonment, because even when I would call her, she'd be like, hi, mntanam ufunde esikolweni, hey uyazi nama nginalutho like uyagawula, you know. And sometimes, and I think every parent needs to know that Guti, sometimes, in fact most of the time, umntwana, it's not about money, it's not about what you physically have, but sometimes it's about
Mm.
being there in a child's life. You may not have
Yeah,
anything, but your
yeah,
presence, your support, um having random conversations nomntanako, especially girl children, is
yeah.
everything, you know.
Mm.
So yeah, oh iskolo, my high school from the THS Langlaagte. I'm sure you know it.
Definitely I do. Kwela Makalat, it's a mixed up. It's a mixed
Ooh,
up actually.
amakhaladi ngiyawahlonipha till today. Ooh.
um, you almost made me cry there for a bit because I'm connecting the dots and I'm trying to kind of every time when someone says something, I visualize what might have happened.
Mm,
Yeah, and I can see you Moledo Ashia thinking Guti she's doing yes at the time she thought it was a great decision, not knowing Guti you needed her physically and emotionally,
more than
especially
anything.
more than anything, especially when Umalumega started doing what she was doing and separate and making you feel worthless in a way and thinking
Wow.
that you're a breaker, not knowing that she's making
Mm.
you more stronger than anything else. Now, you had your high school. Uh, you know, was that where you first met your boyfriend, the first boyfriend? What happened to him? Are you guys still together? Or
um, no, we
Bano
are no
Betty,
longer together.
Uwomoshile?
No, actually, I will say, okay, maybe first love, if I can put it that way. My first
Yeah.
love was a guy by the name of Nemo. Hey,
Hmm.
Tanaban. We had a long term relationship, no Nemo, you know. Um, how do I put it? We were that power couple yesikolo, you know. Uyabona namhlanje if you were to go to Langlaagte and ask about
Each other.
uMakhosazana, they will tell you ukuthi, oh, uchomakwao, uchomutwaneo, you know. That's how
Hmm.
well known we were. And I was the smartest. I'll always be in the top 10. Like every year, I do not recall any school year of my life where I was not in the top 5 or top 10. That's how brilliant I
Yeah.
was, you know. And now on the other side, he was just an
Eish.
average boy, you know. Sometimes not
Awungasabunga
if you
isho ukuthi
haven't,
hey, azibesingakhiphi.
you know, and
Yeah.
like especially teachers and principals were like there's two. It's like two different people, you know. Lo
Yeah.
uzimisele and lo sometimes ooh yakanga late comer, you know. but I did see my impact in his life
For
because
sure.
when yeah, because when I started being in a relationship and there were so many things changed about him. Even most people were like, yeah, is this the Noah that we know? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, um, um, how do I put it? Yeah, we really did love each other. Um, and it was a long term relationship because we dated even after matric. And then yeah, we broke up, and then hey, the guy. I was
Why?
not. Oh,
Why?
okay. Okay,
Ooh.
so the year after matric, I didn't
Mm,
azange ngiye university straight, you know. Um,
okay.
Unfortunately for me, because the only places I had applied to was Yvette na UJ, because other places
Mm,
required an application fee, and I didn't have all that. So I applied Yvette na UJ, and for the courses that I applied for, radiography, I remember in UJ they told me that it's full, and biotech they told me that it's full, and then vet they accepted me for a course that I didn't like, but I was willing to take it, but I didn't like. But
yeah.
then so my mntana malumeka is kind of like sabotaged, you know my opportunity of
Mm,
going there. So things started becoming different because now Yena, he was a first year student, a Bram,
mm.
and you know how Bram is. You
Hey,
how
hey,
Brahmas, it's so wild. Yeah,
hey.
yeah, yeah. Abantwana. At that time it was like, yeah, vele. Uma say prime, it's more like you've made it. You know. And here
Mm,
I was going through a bit of depression, anxiety, because I'm like, what is happening? Have you ever seen
mm.
go to you're the most brilliant kid and Maupume school and everybody thought this person is going straight to university. And then you look
Anti-close.
at other people and you're like, those people who are just average have made it. And me, on the other hand, I was always top notch. And here am I sitting at home.
You don't know what to do.
And exactly, and that woman, Malmegazi, was very strict. The only time you went out was when we went to school. With angiyazi impilo yokudlalela esitradini mina. Yokuba nabangani abaninginingi. I do not don't know that. Yokudlalwa umgusha neskipping. No,
Mm-mm.
I don't know that, you know. So the only time was that, and until I found a way of saying flying goods, no, I'm going to the local library, and
Ah.
at some point I would go see Uneo, and Noah's
Mm-mm.
family knew me since high school, his
Mm,
mom. So our relationship was really that serious, it was really
yeah.
serious. And he started and then I did occupational health and safety. I got a sponsorship from the Institute of Sustainable Risk Management,
Yeah.
um, fortunately. And then being attend like maybe 3 times a week, um, assignments, all of those things, At least I was doing something,
All right.
and I passed and then I graduated. That's how apply la eval. So
Mm,
what as like the wrong corner was when he started feeling insecure, insecure about the fact that Mzwama Valley. I don't know, at some point he felt like he owned me, or there was something in me that he owned. I really don't know. The guy started going crazy.
mm.
um I think what made us go to Slugane was, I remember a day when I went to visit him, and at that time I was
Yeah.
number one, I was supposed to have attended. No, baby
Mm,
girl, we ain't dating. But anyway,
mm, mm.
I went to him and we talked, and then he started changing out of the blue. He started. Oh, okay. I saw a bit of evidence of him cheating. you know, when some girl was sending him nudes and you could see good Lomuntulo. I felt like Lomuntulo. Saya him. Simply because, was it because I was not intimate with him? I don't know. I really don't know. You might never know such thing.
Bear in mind ukuthi untwana usebram, one. Two, he's
Exactly.
interacting with some bright minds there, and he's interacting with girls, beautiful girls, and all of that. He's seeing that. And bear in mind, you were not intimate with him. You just said you were not
Exactly.
intimate with him. And he finds that girl that is giving him attention when apparently back in a way. And that girl is
Dude.
sending him all of this stuff, but I'm not making excuses for him, You could have handled it better. Now, with that, so you decided to break up with him.
uh Before that, the day I decided to break up with him was when I saw that this person was going crazy. Because 1 minute we're sitting, we're talking gashi. The next, this person is telling me that I would come to Vaal and I'd find somebody who would break my virginity, would fuck me up. And when he was supposed to do that, since he's been in a relationship with me for the longest. That's why I'm saying, Guti, at some point I felt like he thought that he owned a part of me or me. And I was like, no. And then that's how it started. He switched up. Umuntu ungibamba kabuhlungu, ubamba ngamabonda, telling me how much he loves me, crying, avela amaveni. And I was like, this person, ngathi uyahlanya. And at that time, bekusadume indaba yabo, who's this girl? Ukarabo Mukwena, lo bambulalile bamshisa. You know?
Oh yeah,
And in my mind, I'm like,
you're thinking about that.
hell no, I am not about to be the next Karabo Mukwena here. You know?
Hmm.
And officially, I was like, you know what? We're breaking up. And with him also, I felt like, beseka hlaliswe into eyi-one ekutheni once he has sex with me, then that's it. Because of how he was
Uyazi ukuthi iphronyo
acting.
uyazi ukuthi iphronyo yakho senzani bese bamnika kamnandi le seka-enjoya into leyana namanje.
Yazini, hey, ngoba hey, kade sigilo emhlabeni.
Uyangi-understand.
And also, yeah, I felt like he was probably no longer in love with me, you know. So
Mm.
I could follow. I was like, I remember he kind of like caused the drama, a scene like in Canada, a person kneeling down asking me, and people were like looking at us. Oh, that was the worst. And then I left and from that day onwards, I never stepped in Canada ever again until last year,
So
actually.
awukamboni
So
since untwana.
ngiyambona, he had so many occurrences. Okay, ahlanya, okay. I used to first 2018 when I came to VUT, I used to stay that other side by Bedworth. Phew.
Nami ngahlanya Bedworth, ngahlanya nami iVaal nje
So
on its own.
obviously I would change my numbers. There's a part of me,
Mm.
I love this guy so much because it took me a whole 2 years to actually
To get
mourn
over him.
him.
Mm.
Yes,
Mm.
because I really did love him. So,
Mm.
okay, uyahlanya manje. All of a sudden, young phone, I would change numbers often, like because now, masengishintshile number senayo, masengishintshile senayo, until I saw, you know what, change my number is not worth it anymore. And I remember this other time he called me and he said to me, ufuna ukwazi ukuthi ngihlalaphi. Yabo, ngathi mina for ngathi angifuni, ngathi hayi, I'll see you later. And I was like, ngicabanga ukuthi uyangithusa sobona. Yeah, guys, cishe ngafa. Yabo, cishe ngafa that day. But anyway, and for some weird reason, that day,
Mhm.
I bunked all my classes. Strange how things happen. I bunked all my
Yeah.
classes because besasebenzisa ifundi card, and ifundi card bekumele uyoma line amade and Pick n Pay, because if most students were using NSFAS were using fundi card. So I thought, good, you know what, let me just bunk my classes anyway. I'll catch up. I went to buy my groceries, gahle. I came back, I changed from it into some short skirt. Anyway, I was in the house. I was not going anywhere. Cause mina ngiyazivalela ke, I'm one person osivalela.
Mhm.
So, how boo 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 ngizwa nge-knock. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, bacelile la housing, because I was bengihlala opposite MSV, some house that besiphilisana basically, bebaboleka most of the time. Ngicela itswayi, ngicela ini, besiphilisana. You know how
Sure. Yeah.
student life is.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, knock. I mean, benganamuntu, when I entered the house, it was quiet. Everybody was in classes. Ah, I kept quiet. And then the knock persisted. And then I opened the door. Doom. Nangumuntu.
Ntanga.
Yes, I froze. And I could have easily closed the door, locked the door, because my last encounter with him was not nice, you know.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
angena untanga, yo, untanga wangenzela drama. I said, so fresh. Untanga was like so different.
Oh,
You
yes.
could see with this person. You could see with this person only came for one thing here. You know,
Yeah.
like, he smelled something else I didn't know. Untanga ngimazanga bhemi. So, mhlambe that angazi yini bekayibhemile that day.
Yeah. Mm.
You know, so he
Mm.
was just he. I watched a guy that I said I loved most
Mm.
of my life turned into a monster in front of my eyes,
Sure.
just like that, you know. And Wang Susa, because now women are being killed out there, women are being raped out there, women are being burned out there, more
Mm.
especially by their boyfriends, their exes, you know. I didn't want to be another statistics, you know.
Mm.
He came, he tried holding me, I pushed him. We literally fought. We fought. I'm pushing. I even have a scar here on my thigh. Like, yeah, that day. And then he told me
So
that
he
he met a
wanted.
girl who reminds um I thought I don't know, because when he sat down, he told me we spoke kahle, you know, we
Mm.
spoke kahle, and he apologized and told me that he is sorry for so many things that he put me through. Like in jail, I thought it was that kind of apology,
Correct.
closure, setting,
Yeah.
you know, with we setting each other free now. You know, it's been some time. Okay. And then we spoke, guys, and told me that he met a girl, and that girl reminds him of me. But every time he's intimate with the girl, it's like he's just intimate with the body of the girl, but in his mind he's intimate with me. And that was the
So
first sign that showed me, "Lo muntu ngathi uyahlanya lo.
he
How do
was
you do
obsessed now.
that?"
He doesn't love you anymore. He's now obsessed with you
Exactly.
and your body now. Besekafuna your
Hey,
body
yeah.
more than
You know, he
you
he
know.
was just salivating on my body. He's like, "Who, Ati, where does your boyfriend live? Who's fucking you?" You
Hater.
know those questions. And then as I close to me, he tried to kiss me, he tried to touch me. Like in jail, we fought, literally. We fought. And then I told him, and then he's like to me, that's how I saw with this guy, we are fine. He said to me, ngathi ngizoscreama la, ngizomemeza, and abantu bazoza, and uzolala emajele, alive alabandayo. And I'm sure he didn't
Mm.
come all the way kuzolala ejele. Yala evale ebandayo. And he's like, scream, sizwe ukuthi ubani ozokuzwa.
Mm.
Immediately, it clicked in my mind, because no man, when I came into the house, there was no one. So even if I scream,
Ish.
then yeah, that was just one of the worst incidents. But before the
Mhm.
whole fighting, the whole thing, we spoke as
Yeah.
civilized people. Funny enough, you know, and I think from that day onwards, that's how I got my closure when I was by that talk. I asked him so many questions. He replied to some, he couldn't reply to some. He told me that he still loves me and stuff, and I told him that we cannot go back together. Besides, lo mntana abantu anaye probably uyamthanda, and because the girl called, he lied where he was. You know, is it
Obviously,
this
for obvious
name?
reasons. Bekazothini na ex yami. Hayi
Obviously, you
beyizophela.
know, there is okay.
Beyizophela, you know.
You
Yeah,
know.
no.
So, and I felt like he was just with the girl for the sake of just having someone in billionaire, okay, you know. But the guy was low key stalking me, follow Instagram, and unfollow,
Mm.
unfollow me. All of a sudden, some follow abangani bakhe, you know. So it was
Ah,
just that,
the blood was boiling.
you know. And it's strange enough when the last thing, okay, when we broke up, he said that if he cannot have me, no any other guy will have me. That day, he said the very same
Mm.
thing before he left. Because I told him, ukuthi ahambe, angaphinda abuye. Angaphinda
Hey,
abuye. You know, I told him, ukuthi, like, can we just, it's fine, move on with your life. And for
yeah.
information, I had not moved on by then. Although my current boyfriend was still trying his luck here and there, you know. But nje bengifila ukuthi like I'm not ready for a relationship because I'm the type of person who when they love really hard, you know, and it's just like
Mm.
my eyes just become to that person, straight to that person and no one else. So yangilimaza kakhulu relationship yami noNeo emotionally kakhulu because yo bengimthanda. And I believe he loved me too. And I believe he still does. It's just that angazi mhlampe seke acceptile manje or he's
Hopefully
just
it
that
is
guy
because
ovundukayo.
wait,
You know when your happiness is at its peak, and then he's that hey stranger kind
unokuvunda.
of person.
Yeah, my
Umana
friend.
vunduka nje empilweni, you know.
Yeah.
Yo, so ngamtshela ngathi
No,
ahambe angaphinde
yeah.
kuwe. And then he repeated the very same thing. If he can't have me, no any other person will have. And then he left. Waphela ehlweni umuntu mangimlandela angazi lo muntu onyamalale wayaphi. So I felt like it was an inside job. Somebody who knew me or who knew him told him ukuthi ngihlala because I never did. Still today, I'm
Wow.
asking myself, how did he find it? That's how I had to like move places and ngihlala khona manje. But the guy was suddenly went crazy, and it's so sad how our relationship ended.
Just in
Until I
closing,
met him. No, I met him.
chapter. Yeah.
We met again
Uh-huh.
last year on the 24th of December.
Birthday.
I think I called him and I told him, ah, Nkosi Jesu, way. We met on the 24th of December. I actually said, let's meet up, let's talk, you know,
Mm.
because he was now becoming a pain in the ass, that person who just doesn't want to disappear in your life, you know, and putting
Mhm.
people around me in danger. Because I have a friend, okay, an ex friend, if I can put it that way, some guy that I used to be like Bengen and I my class most classes. So when I had free time, we would sit and talk. And that guy till today, Agafuni anyway, simply because there was a time where apparently was attacked or bambigunzo something bamshaya. They didn't take anything, they just hit him. Bamshaya. They didn't take your laptop, they didn't take your phone, bamshaya. Bamtshela ukuthi aqheleke kimi. Till today,
Ah, no,
akasifuni ukuvuma ukudla
no,
kwami.
no. But quick question, two questions ngoNeo. Wena bomsendela ama nudes.
No, let me tell you, I been on a phone. We bought this 100 rand phone, ne?
Yeah.
And for 3 years, bengiphatha loyo nomathotholo omncane, whereby ngiyazi ukuthi he knew ukuthi okay, ngo-10 sengiqedile ukukorobha, uklina, all the chores, sengiphansi kwengubo ngikhuluma naye. It was
So,
only for phone
okay.
calls.
And then if you did have a phone, bozomsendela.
No. Ah, no.
Why?
That's an easy
Why?
question. Because I felt like it's just not me. It's not me. I don't do that.
Okay, cool. And then um sizoza kulowa manje. Lowa manje uyamsendela.
No.
Okay, you're still the same person. Now, another question yokuvala uNeo. Usamthanda uNeo or uyamkhathalela?
I'll be honest, ne, if you be in a relationship with a person and you after that relationship happen and then you say to you sometimes you never loved that person to begin with. You know? So I will say that Uneo will be one person in my life that I'll forever love. But I feel now with now it's on different levels. You know, it's no longer that deep, but I still love him to a point where if he is to call me acele uncedo something, and if I had that thing, ngizomnceda because he will forever be my first love. He will forever be
For sure.
umuntu engimthandayo. Yeah.
Makes sense. I think we really need part two of the story. It's story sakho. Yeah, well,
Engathi
just have
sengafa.
so speaking about moving on from now, we want to speak about VUT. How did you get to VUT? Bear in mind at that point you were not Bebanga accept and why choose Vaal out of all the universities?
You know, I'd like to say Val chose me. Never in my wildest dream did I ever dream of being in Val.
Mm.
Applying a late application nakhona bengasafuni ukuhlala ekhaya bese ngifila it was like an escape from
Mm.
loya mama loya. you know. So
Mm.
I came and I did elate application here. And I remember in I need elate application, I was ready to take anything that
Mm.
could get me inside. Benginale mentality ukuthi uzochange phakathi, you know.
Mm.
So I remember taking a photography. Woo, Makhosazana. I remember taking a photography and mangithi ngiyahambisa because there were people about to my paper 8 for later. And that guy looked at my matric results and looked at the course that I chose and he was like, hi, 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 hi. Well, tabula le paper. Hambo choose a into unga peniki and then you bring it
Mm.
straight to me. You won't have to start the line over again. And
Mm.
at that time, Ipayo was not there. There was no
Mhm.
space. There was no space. So I had to apply for extended late application. There was no space for mainstream courses. And I remember because in the only available courses were illegal law, legal tonto, labor law, and engineering. And then nabo photography, yeah, na zonke lezinto lezi ezinye. And then I chose chemical engineering actually. I just took
Mm.
the chemical in. That's when that guy accepted my application. I was like, yeah, at least because some results are for they're just way too high. I think you are
Mm.
brilliant more than a photograph. And eventually I was
Wow.
panicking. So I chose chemical engineering.
Mhm.
When I had to come for registration, bekuyi-story. Khumbula ukuthi bengisahlala naloya mama loya.
Oh yes.
Bekuyi-story, bebangi-confiscate ifoni yami. Simply, I never phone. So my next door neighbor ungibolekile so that I can receive SMS. Because I remember VT was like, if besingakakufoneli, ngakusendela SMS by 20 January, just know your application was unsuccessful.
Yes.
Lapho i-stress sithini. So I needed to make sure that le sim card engiyibhalile lapha leya number, it was always on.
Mm.
So they confiscated ifoni yami because it was a neighbor's phone and mina angisho ngendlini bengiyifihla ifoni yakhona. So ukuphuma kwami kuloya mama loya was not a nice way because I had to fight to be here. I think that's why I
Mm.
also did not take this opportunity for granted. I had to fight physically this time. That's how bad it is. It's something I'm not proud of, ukushaya umuntu omdala, you know. But I
Mm.
felt like had I not done that, I wouldn't be here, you
Tubumela
know.
umtumpe kudala.
Oh, esidumbene kabuhlungu because I've had like you know when a person for the youngest period of your time umuntu ukuphatha kabi uhlezi always saying izinto ezi-wrong. Now uma umuntu yabona I always make this example. Yabona isponge leso geza ngaso izitsha. It can hold
Mm.
amanzi up to a certain point. If you are to leso sponge sogeza izitsha uvulela running water, yes, at first it will soak in that water. But at some point uzobona say amanzi sewadripha, sewayehla because ayisakwazi. And I felt like that was
That's
me
sad.
at that point,
Yeah.
you know.
Thuthuka inhliziyo.
So bese ngikwatile bengasafuni niksi that. And funny enough, angaze ngamphendula loya mama even today. She was just intimidated by my eyes. Cause I asked her ukuthi ngisacela ifoni cause ngi-aplayile VAT and I just wanna see if I'm a message. Ungazongidina, ungazonginyanyisa wena ngani, ungazongimoshela ilanga. I just stared at her. Ungangibheki kanjalo ngizokushaya. Yeah. I just stared at. I was in shock ukuthi is this person a grade 1 teacher to begin with? How heartless can she be? You know,
Mm.
how does she deal nabantwana babantu if she is this heartless to me? Until today, angisazi isono sami kuloya mama ukuthi why bekangizonda kangaka. But anyway, we fought because bekathi uyangishaya ngadaka, wathi uyangishaya wadaka, wangishaya. Engamshaya yezwa, that's how we fought physically.
Mm.
We fought, sashayana. Oh, it was so bad. It was really bad because I don't think I'll ever forgive myself for that. Yes, I might have forgiven myself, but deep down, it's not something I am proud of because even when I look back at it, I'm like, ish, that's Makhosazana. Good that was not the solution. Yeah, but at that point, I felt like that was the only solution. Because had I not done that, kube
Kuba
Cinderella
over.
kule.
That's
Like
okay.
literally, you know.
Shame, as case. And
So
and and yeah, uyumshayile wakunika ifone or we-touch it obviously. Wathola
that
message.
no, no. That day ngize ngazi ukuthi I need to be at Vaal. The next day yakhona. It was the last
Mm,
day of registrations.
mm,
And the previous day, I was in the library. So, ukube library, I started a book club at that library. So I had to manage things and stuff. And then bebangijwayele kakhulu vele library yakhona Rosa Parks. So I
mm,
asked ubaba lwaselibrary ukuthi ngicela ukufonela i-university ngefoni yaselibrary yabo ngibuze. That's how
mm,
they checked I gave them my ID number. They checked it. No, man, we sent you SMS a long time ago. You're supposed to have registered by now. Because there awasekho ama-spaces. Sekusele
mm,
ispace saku-electrical engineering.
mm,
So the next day yakhona, it was the last day registration. Lapho anginamali, angina
mm.
next. It was literally that tough. It was really
We
tough.
I'm gonna pause you there. You're gonna be back. We're gonna be back. You're gonna tell me about
Okay.
that one because I'm very, very interested in on what happened next. Which is the next day, it was the registration day, and Bunganamali. How did you manage to get there, and what happened? We're
Okay.
just gonna go and pay the bills. We're gonna be back just now.
If you're a YouTuber, you're probably using this and this. So you should start using this. Get Artlist's complete music catalog of high quality songs, all pre-checked for monetization for only $1.99 a year. Download as many songs as you want and use them for any video content you create. Yeah, even for commercial projects. No channel view counting, no limitations. Use Artlist and start creating content without limits.
This podcast is brought to you by Atlist. Yeah, we're speaking to McKay the poet. So you were saying with the Bonganamali, and the next day it's registration day. I know how strict they are in terms of that. So how did you manage? Your kolo kwenzakala.
So a friend of some other guy friend by the name of Oris helped me actually. Um I didn't know what I was gonna do because baby and I was going insane because could this be like am I missing another opportunity of going to school? You know?
Mm-hmm.
I grew up as umntwana othanda isikolo like blind, you know. So I felt with
Yeah.
yo. He helped me. The next day baye bahamba baya okay because my loya mama is a teacher, so bekaye emsebenzini and stuff, and bengihleli nobani nothandeka, my cousin, you know. And I told my cousin ukuthi yo ish mntase ngiyabuya manje ngizobuya maybe ngabo 1 2, I have to meet up no Neo, hey, fix things, things are not
Shy
going
story.
well, you know. Okay, as
Mm.
saying, he was like, you know what, we going. So Aris drove me here. Oh, yeah, ne. Tala man beka na petrol but sifikile la. Kanjani? I don't know. Sifikile and it also I was helped by a friend of Ukatu. Ukatu is a guy was a library who owns the youth club. I owned the book club. I started the book club. He started the youth club. So a friend of Katu knew a lecturer here, you know, knew a lecturer here. So ngabatshela ukuthi, yo, tomorrow is the last day and I really don't know what to do. And then made a call to that lecturer, wamupha ama-details ami, and then the lecturer was like, ufike kusasa ekuseni, wafika after 9, I cannot help you anymore.
Mm.
So ufike and then ngizozama ukukusiza fast, you know.
Wow.
We safika lana lapho sidonsa ngogazela ukuthi sifike kanjani, I really don't know. I was so hungry. It was
Mm.
really cold. It was okay, not cold but rainy and cloudy and cold. Lapho imoto ayinama-wiper kahle. Man,
Mm.
it was just something else. And then but then wanginceda and then told me ukuthi actually ispace sakho saku-chemical asisekho. Khona manje kune-space ku-process Electrical, but process control, now electronics. Which one are you taking?
Ngasikhathi leso awuzazi kahle.
I do not know ukuthi isilwane esineempondo ezingakhi lezo, noma is it a pink animal, is it a I did not know, and I was like, process ukuthi njani, you know.
You just love
And
the
then
name process, yeah.
no, I was just in panic. I just wanted to be in. I didn't care ukuthi was it electronics, was it process, was it what. I was like, it's fine, electrical uzoyithatha, because in my mind I had this mentality change phakathi.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
so ngayithatha, then wathi fine, angazi wacela bani wangiregister, I was in the system, and then they told me that I need to do student card, imele ngime line ama-textbook.
Yes, even though I didn't study there, but friends, yeah, maline yawas, yeah.
No VT. I was like, as long as I'm registered. Is it possible to do these things later? They were like, yes. It's like, okay, as long as I'm in the system. Then sabuyele umuva, like till today, Shem, I'm really grateful to Oris. Like, wow.
Shout out to Oris.
So
Not a lot of guys that
shout
would
out
do
to
that.
him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got in, and then they didn't know. Still, they didn't know. But saying registered, and then I told them the next week yakhona, it was almost the last days ukuthi ngithatha ama-textbook and ukuthi kumele ngenze student card phela, ngapha kumele ngifune indawo yokuhlala cause i-rest nje yila bengingayikhona, ilayini yase-rest andizi, you know. So that, but then mamamu was this side for that time because had an appointment at St. John's. So that's just how it was. And then I came this time. Google in their minds, in their eyes, bengizoregister. But mina besengiregistile, besengizoyenza izinto zami ukuthi sharp, ngithatha ama-textbook, ngibheke indawo yokuhlala, ngenza zonke lezo zinto lezo. I remember the first 2 weeks of attending classes, I was traveling. From Mfulo. From Mfulo South, which is basically more, I can say maybe from Glen, because it's like the same distance.
The same distance, yeah.
From Lapo to Vaal every day. I woke up ngale nkathi so that I can get to class early. I'm a taxi. I
go to town or
go to town. Public transport, nothing else. The first 2 weeks were very hectic. So I had to travel. Ngibuya late. That time I'm specs. I care that woman broke my spectacles when we were fighting. And I'm one person who's dependent on spectacles.
So now go for eyes.
I've always been for eyes. So, but you can just imagine how terrible it was having to travel this long distance. Angiboni ukuthi mkambe kumele ngiyehle kuphi, ngiyalahleka, anginama-specs, ngifike eklasini angizwa next, angiboni next.
Ithi inkulu, so you find ukuthi ulahleke phela, awazi ukuthi kwenzakalani ama-building yabo, and
utholile i-timetable mara uyazi i-GW 106 ikuphi, awazi inini kuphi, ulahleka, ufika iklasi selihalf, ufika selizophela, nakhona sowuhleli nje sekumake iregister, awuzwa next, khala uvovovo endlebeni. Shame.
And amakhona ayafana kuyase-VUT, uzolahleka, amakhona ayafana amakhona.
So but I was grateful ukuthi at least yabona, in my heart I was like, mangiregistrile okunye sekuzobonakala.
You got to the Vaal, and then this stuff started happening. Wacala uthola confidence yakho, you started taking pictures, you started knowing yourself. And what you want. Poetry, poetry. Did you start poetry mostly high school? Because I didn't want to speak about it then because we're still telling your story.